What is up YouTube, it's Kingfisher745, and in this video we're going to take another look at Deathlok in PvP, but this time he's at a higher level, and so he is definitely ready for action. For our first team up, we're going to be using him once again with Fixer, and I failed to mention this last time, but we were given a great name for this team. Agent Kilgara suggested that we call them the Cybermen, of course in reference to Doctor Who. So that's a fantastic name for this team. And it also reminds me of the Cybermen from DBZ, but maybe that's just me. Either way, this team is solid, and to go along with Fixer's combat suite, we put a few tech weapons on my agent as well. Unfortunately, like I said last time, Deathlok only has one tech ability, even though it feels like all of his actions should be labeled that. He's immune to obsolete tech, so it would only benefit him. But what are you gonna do? Right now, only his level 2 is actually tech. As for my agent, we're using the cybernetic blaster, which does count as tech, then the skeptic as well. Unfortunately, for some reason the cybernetic cannon is not labeled tech, but it does come in extremely handy. Regardless, we do have Fixer's combat suite to begin the battle, and we also have tech upgrade if we decide to use the skeptic. Fortunately, we can use the cybernetic blaster as a quick action, and then the cannon's attack is going to be stealthy, plus it has malignant ice. This debuff causes quick actions to become normal actions. And yes, that's on an AoE stealthy weapon, so it's pretty awesome. This attack does miss null, but he's already been exhausted courtesy of the suppression grenade. So on his turn, he can't use You're Not Worthy, and instead opts to use Fatal Fist. On my Fixer, we have tech upgrade on his shift, so he's going to gain that buff, and we're also going to become an infiltrator. Then, on my mines, we apply downgrade, so not only do we hit him with the irradiated frag mine, we also lock out his tech abilities. Well, the agent didn't do much on his turn, and now with Deathlok, we'll once again use his grenade, then his level 1. This attack continues to grow in power depending on the amount of combat data on the enemy. Unfortunately, it doesn't stack with the skeptic, but still it packs a punch. So since Null was completely knocked out, Iron Fist couldn't heal him, and instead he opts to attack Fixer. That didn't quite work out for the enemy team, but after using momentary advantage, we're first going to heal and remove our debuffs. Then once again, it's back to using the cybernetic cannon as a quick action, and that attack is going to go on Iron Fist. Then with our actual turn, we'll use the cybernetic cannon to once again apply malignant ice. The enemy agent is immune to exhausted, but we figured we'll at least give it a try. Then with Fixer, we're going to switch to Tactician and apply our second mine. As you can see, the enemy agent does have debuffs, but malignant ice isn't going to stop him. So with his turn, he does get to use the signpost, and then he'll still get another action. That's unfortunate, but at least it's only going to be the vigilante mask, and that's the end of his turn. So now with Deathlok, we really want to take out Iron Fist before he can heal. And so we begin with our suppression grenade, followed by our level 1. That's going to be a typical turn for Deathlok, but it's pretty awesome because both attacks can proc collateral damage, and as you'll see later, they can also cause a follow-up attack from something like the Relentless Rapier. Because of that, it kind of elevates Deathlok, and makes him even more worth using. By the way, now that we're at the end of this fight, and we've been setting up the enemy agent, we're going to go ahead and slow play it. I mean, we didn't put all these mines on him not to see them go off. His turns are pretty much the same anyways. It's signpost, then the vigilante mask. And I guess that's what happens when you put two quick actions on your defensive AI controlled agent. So when it comes to Deathlok, he's not going to do too much damage, so we'll let him hit. And then okay, downgrade is obviously playing a part in him skipping his turns as well. Then with my agent, we'll just go ahead and use the improbability field, and now it's going to be time for Fixer to detonate those mines. Hopefully we didn't drag this one out all for nothing, so let's see what type of damage we can get. Well, the first part was pretty abysmal, But then we get both blasts, followed by the big one. Nearly 253,000 damage, not bad at all. So that's our first matchup. Now on to our second team. Alright, this was suggested to me either in the comments or in a message, and unfortunately I forgot who said it. So just let me know in the comment section below and I'll give you a shout out in the next video. But this is a really interesting idea surrounding Daredevil and his reckless AISO. I have no idea if it's going to work, but I definitely think it's interesting. So with Daredevil's first turn we'll use Radar Sense, and then on his level 6 we have his AISO. Normally I hate this thing. What it does is it causes Reckless Rage. The enemy will perform a follow-up attack when attacking, but it says greatly reduced chance to hit on this follow-up. Now if only that were the case, because the enemies rarely ever miss me, and that's part of why I hate it so much. Otherwise, sure, you could use something like Combo Breaker, and so you would get some extra damage on the enemy. On this team, we're hoping to get some more combat data on the enemy because of that extra attack. So that's the whole point of this. And hopefully we don't get ourselves killed. Warning, this can backfire. But what we're going to do is attack the enemy Star-Lord, and then since we're a tactician, we can actually attack the agent as well. But okay, only reverse that order. We also got pretty lucky with the rapier joining in, but now we're going to have Reckless Rage on both enemies. And Star-Lord gets an extra turn, so this is going to be a lot of attacks. First he uses Hotshot on my agent, and then he follows up with a Spray and Pray. We get lucky and it does miss. The enemy agent misses with his Cosmic Cardinal as well, and his Brawl follow-up. So hey, it's actually working, and we're putting some combat data on the enemies. Well, I can't argue with results, so it worked out. Also, my agent got a big and fast proc. Unfortunately, combat data from the Skeptic doesn't stack. We already knew that, but it does lower evasion, and then Deathlok lowers accuracy and evasion. Plus attacks are more likely to critically hit. Then after our agent uses his Vigilante Mask, we'll try to finish off the enemy agent with the Relentless Rapier. It works out, but Star-Lord's going right back at our agent. And then with his follow-up, he luckily once again misses. So far I really can't complain. The strategy is obviously working. And now on our agent's turn, we're going to go ahead and use the Blackest Void, removing both of the enemy's buffs. Then following this, we'll use the Skeptic on Quicksilver. He's a scrapper and he's up next, so we might as well try to hurt him as badly as we can. This actually should do quite a bit of damage, and it does it over 15,000, knocking him out. So with Deathlok, we're going to use his Suppression Grenade, and then with 4 stacks of combat data, we'll unleash our level 1. This should definitely finish the match. Unfortunately it doesn't crit, but the damage was still pretty nice. So all in all, that was a pretty interesting team up, and now for the final match, we're bringing in Age of Ultron Vision. We're facing a 28k Enchantress and Null team, but Vision gets to begin. Now his Microwave Pulse does have radiation exposure, but only the enemy agent can be afflicted by that debuff. So instead we're going to use our level 1, and this causes burning and buff blocker, so that may come in handy. Magic warding will definitely come in handy. And with our opening hit, we do 6,700 damage, plus get a 7k rapier follow-up. We'll take it. Next, the evil enemy agent starts by using the Signpost, and then after that, they're going to use the Scourging Gaze. I don't think I ever won that item, but I don't think it's going to affect our team. Also, Vision does counter because of the Tactician. On our agent's turn, we'll use the Vigilante Mask, and as you can see, we don't have any debuffs. But with our Stealthy Rapier, we'll finish off the agent. I can't even tell you, by the way, how important magic warding is right now. So hopefully you have a Skeptic. If not, maybe try someone like Dr. Voodoo. trust me, it's really going to come in handy, whether it's against Doctor Strange, Enchantress, or Null. And that's just for starters. Now after Enchantress's turn, it's going to be Deathlok time. And we'll begin once again with our suppression grenade. This is going to get a collateral damage proc, and more importantly, it exhausts Null. We'll also get a rapier follow-up, and then we can attack with our level 1. And another collateral damage. This too gets a follow-up attack, so just like I said, Deathlok and the rapier is a great pairing. Now another great thing about facing someone like Enchantress is, the more she attacks, the more combat data she gets. The other good thing is, we have Vision and he has Solar Jewel. So at this point, she's going to easily be finished off by the rapier. And with that, we're going to be brought to the end of this video. But before we go, I do want to say I'll be covering all the San Diego Comic-Con news. So I will definitely make a video about everything that's announced. Make sure you stay tuned and keep updated. You can easily do that by hitting the subscribe button. Also, please leave a like and a comment. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, good luck and take care.